and Real One. And if I could start before the war, Janez, in Yugoslavia itself, could you tell me about the sort of family life you were leading and the area you came from? And really what life was like before 1939?
Yes, we had a farm, small farm, and it was 9 children. I am the first one of 9. And what happened is that we were working on the fields and and in the forest, because there's a lot of forest around that area, and life was going pretty normally. It was democracy. There were elections every so often. And
did you not have a king then?
We had a king. We had King Alexander. He was killed in 1933, and then we had a Prince Paul, who ran after the Alexander, and then towards the end, 1938 or 39 I believe, Peter took over, and it was a little bit of uprising down in Belgrade because of that. But life went normally, really.
When the war broke out in Europe in 1939, if I remember, Yugoslavia wasn't directly affected.
No, nothing happened.
But can you remember, was there any reaction? How old would you have been at that time? I'm wondering what you felt, if you felt at all anxious.
My father was a little bit, I was a young boy, I was about 18, and my father, anything like that, I asked my father, when Hitler was instated, and he cried. And I said, why? He said, it will be terrible, something wrong will be in Europe or whatever. And then I asked him sometimes the question, why is Germany really so strong? He said, the strongest country in the world at the moment. I said, so that means they can overrun everybody they like and then win the world, isn't it? Oh no, he said, they won't win the world because the rest of the world will go against them. And then I said, what's about Russia? What's about Stalin? Because Hitler and Stalin, they were allies that time. And he said, oh, Russia is rotten, we don't need to worry about Stalin, he said, and it's too far from here. And I was thinking to myself, maybe you're right, father was right. And as I say, when it actually happened, they invaded Poland. We hear by radio that Poland was invaded by Hitler, first of all, and then the day after or 2 days after, we hear that Russia took a part as well on it. And, I remember being gone on the station because we were doing some work on the station, railway station, which it was about 8 miles from my home. And then people was talking about it, you think to yourself, what happened. And nothing really happened until 1941, really much.
Well, was the country not put on a sort of preparatory basis?
Yes, they called the soldiers in, like reserve soldiers and things like that in, and they, for a couple of weeks, some of my friends, which were a bit older, and they'll send them back again. But it was nothing really terrific alert, because Yugoslav army, was more made. We had the cannons, we had the guns, but we didn't have tanks and things like that. It was more like primitive, like Polish in a way. It was nothing like French Maginot line or whatever they call it. This was nothing like that. And when 1941, we heard that Hitler already crossed the border. I'm too far, is it? When he cleared the border, in the area Struge was no garrisons or anything like that. There were, Ribbons and other places. So we didn't really see Yugoslav soldiers a lot there then. And then all of a sudden, about a battalion of them come in one evening.
Of the Germans?
No, Yugoslavs. We see them Yugoslavs. We hear the Germans have crossed the border. And they come in Struga, in one village. I remember was a major and colonel and couple of, a battalion of them there. And they come in the house. We were there. Was with girlfriend. I had a girlfriend there, and in their house we were there. And they walked in, and they were looking them up and things like that. And next morning, they all disappear. All what they had there, all the cannons and a couple of cannons and a few lorries and a couple of guns. That was all there. So and then there was nothing for about 1 or 2 days, and then all of a sudden Italians came down, and my father was a prisoner of war in the First World War in Italy. He spoke Italian a little bit, and he was saying to us, don't say nothing, just be quiet, we'll see what they will do. And they come down in the village and then call a few people up. They tell us a little bit of so and so and so, but they didn't do nothing to anybody.
They sort of gave you instructions how to behave.
Yeah, how to behave. They put like a curfew on for a couple of days, alert, and then if there's any guns anywhere, we have to hand them in. And life was quite normal after, quite normal. We had a bit of rations. My wife will probably tell you a little bit more because there was a few more there. They were eating a couple of things, but in my village they didn't even stay. The nearest one was about 6 miles up, and
so it would seem from what you're saying that Yugoslavia was divided between Germans and Italians.
Slovenia, and part of Yugoslavia. Yes. I could show the map if you like after how approximately. Ljubljana was under Italy, and all the south from Ljubljana down, all the way down towards Trieste, and then the north, like Gorenska, Klagenfurt, and all that, and Steierska was under the Germans. See, the border between Germany and Italy was about 5-6 miles north of Ljubljana. So we were just under them.
Well, that explains it very well. It gives a very good idea. Thank you very much.
And then they as I say, was quite normal. We gone back, we carry on working, and then the Italians were actually buying forestry products from us because we had a lot of timber there and things like that. And then we were taking it to the station, and that was April, to the station and things like that. And then all of a sudden, 21st of June, we hear that Hitler attacked Russia. And that was, from then on, over that winter, 1941-42 winter, the things were still normal. But then after we heard that the communist uprising is going to be, and that the partisans has been formed, and in Ljubljana already killings already start. They killed a couple of prominent people. The first one was killed was Professor.
Don't worry about the name. We can fill that in later because it would be interesting to know.
A couple of prominent people, the leaders of our leaders. I was told after that in the winter of 41 and 42, 1,000 people disappeared overnight in Ljubljana, mostly prominent people. Ehrlich, Professor Ehrlich and people like that. And then after they killed our leader, Natlachen, and all that. And then we didn't really hear much about them until 1942.